Welcome back to the morning show here on the Rise News. It's a Friday, and you know what that means? It means we have sports stories today across the globe. And Aaron Akerijola is here with us. Good morning, Aaron. How are you?
A very good morning to you. Ayo, good morning to you, Doctor.
Emmy's been here yesterday.
Welcome back from Rio.
What shall we say about these things?
We'll be starting off, unfortunately, from that particular topic. And it's unfortunate what has happened, but we are hoping that there is still light at the end of the tunnel.
Land of hope,
I saw you
Nigeria.
playing very tedious mathematics yesterday.
Calculations.
That's what happens, eh? When Nigeria fails to prepare properly,
Yes.
we now start doing mathematics.
Well, we are hoping that things will change, and I would say that, and I would explain that in a moment. But first of all, let's start it off from the fact that at the moment, Lesotho are hoping, and they are trying to impress on FIFA that they should do the right thing in the interest of sports, because they know that the window to have actually appealed based on the statutes of FIFA has actually gone. And Mokoena, who is in the center of all this, according to Lesotho and their Secretary General, he says FIFA should be fair to everyone involved. And let's see how it actually goes. Some heads are rolling, metaphorically, in South Africa, because this would have maybe cost them their World Cup bid. But let's see how it actually goes. We'll keep an eye on what is still going on, as Group C at the moment is still on knife edge, and some will say it's still being open, and anything can still happen. But let's see how it actually plays out. But away from that quickly, let's actually bring it home. And first of all, let's talk about the fact, Doctor, why I said that there might be light at the end of the tunnel is the fact that the chairman of the National Sports Commission has met with the president, and the president has decided to redeem his pledge. This is the first time this is happening in a very long time. Because remember, after they finished as runners-up in the Africa Cup of Nations, promises were made to them. And the president has gone to fulfill that particular pledge, and houses, in a matter of days, they'll be presenting houses and lands to them, talking about the Super Eagles players and the backroom staff for their valiant effort at the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, which is a very, very good thing. Because not only has the president even done that, they've also now talking about issues concerning payment of wages and remuneration is a thing of the past. Because not only are they getting winning bonuses if they win, but also participation bonuses are also paid to the players. So if we do not go to the World Cup, the National Sports Commission, through their head, have done everything they can do. Now it will be on the doorstep of the players that we didn't do this, because Nigeria, the president, and every other moving piece has been done. All that is left is the players to go out there, exert themselves, and make sure that we do qualify. It's unfortunate that on the day, with all the promises that were made, with all the bonuses that were being paid, with the pledges that were being redeemed, we still could not cross over that particular hurdle. Rather shameful, rather painful. But in the meantime also, Doctor, in a matter of the Touch of Unity is beginning. Ogun State will be hosting the 22nd National Sports Festival, and the president has received the Touch of Unity, and it will begin. And of course, Governor Dapo Abiodun was also there to actually begin this particular movement, as we are hoping that this particular renaissance that is happening in sport, because it stands right now, you interviewed the organizers of the Niger Delta Sports Festival. In Lagos here, we're having a Southwest Games going on, and this also. So that means that at the moment we're having more sporting activities, and we're hoping that all this will culminate into something massive for the nation. But in the meantime, quickly, because of time, let's quickly talk about one man. Ibrahim Traore, they say he's the president of Burkina Faso. He was 37-year-old, by the way. He was on the pitch, playing in a novelty game, and he scored a hat-trick. And some were kind of excited that this is what happens when you get a very young president. All right. Of course, J.J. Okocha, Emmanuel Sheyi Adebayo, and some ex-African legends were in that particular one. But I do not know. That's the big question. But he was just releasing the rockets left, right, and center there. So scoring a hat-trick is quite remarkable. But quickly away from that, let's talk about the fact that the 11th Pitch Award was actually held, and Ademola Lookman won the biggest gong in that particular one. And I must say kudos to Shina Phillips for always hosting this. It's the longest football award in the country, and it's still the most enduring and still the most credible as we speak. And finally, Novak Djokovic is into the semifinals. Now he's the oldest man to actually do this, get into the semifinals of a Grand Slam. At 37, he's still waxing strong and is still saying that he can go for more. And with his coach and body talking about Andy Murray by his side, who knows? As I say, the sky is the limit. Let's see what actually happens in the Miami Masters, as he's hoping that he can actually win the Miami Masters. To add to the litany of awards he's actually won, he's actually the greatest of all time. That might divide opinions, but based on stats and based on what he's been able to do as we speak, he is the greatest of all time.
He is the greatest of all time, and I'm hoping that he will be able to. I'm sure it's a personal record thing. Remember when Serena Williams as well was looked at as maybe emerging age-wise, but she kept pushing and pushing until, because you keep on pushing to beat your personal best. So all the best to him. Proud that he's been able to emerge as semi-finalist. Talking about semi-finalists, that's the next stage for the Women's Champions League. You didn't talk about that.
Okay.
In the semi-finals, we have Arsenal facing Olympic Lyonnais and also Chelsea beating Man City to now go on to face FC Barcelona as well. So really good to see that, and just to give more publicity to women's sports. We talked about how it emerged over the years and how they're growing. Numbers are growing also in terms of even viewership and sponsorship. So it's really great to hear. Now, going back home to Nigeria, Aaron, I don't even know if we should go to the World Cup, or maybe we should. I know Nigerians might not like this, but get our acts together and our house together. Because what's the point of going in such form and then getting there, getting excited, and we're out by the group stages? I know there's a novelty of at least participating at the World Cup, but at what point are we going to stop waiting for permutations and calculations?
The tricky part of that is, when you look at it, the way the landscape of African football is, the people going to the World Cup, the people that are almost assured of a ticket to the World Cup, are not going for the AFCON. The people that are assured of a solid AFCON ticket are not going to the World Cup. Because, for example, Ghana have almost punched their way through. They're not going to the AFCON.
But they're taunting Nigeria for it.
No, but they're not going to the AFCON.
Watch it on our TV.
So these things do happen. These things do happen. Nothing is given. Whatever you get, you have to earn. And it's unfortunate that Nigeria were thinking on paper that we could actually blitz the trail, but it's unfortunate. Look at where we find ourselves now.
South Africa now to be disqualified. To give us a chance.
What else can I say? What else can I say?
Leader. You said they scored a hat-trick. He's not even much of a footballer, like the evangelical Christian of Burundi, Pierre Nkurunziza, who was president at the time. He loved to play football. Now, I think it was in 2018, they had asked a team from Kiremba, the northern part of the country, to come and play in the state capital. And either those ones did not know that they were playing against the president, or they just thought, after all, this is a football match. They tackled the president each time he got to the ball. The president fell down several times. At the end of the day, some of the officials were bundled into prison and detained.
This is a military leader. I'm sure they were advised. They were advised.
So he's scoring a hat-trick does not mean that he's such a skillful footballer.
That's subjective. Still very subjective.
Well, I've just given you the example of Nkurunziza in Burundi, who jailed people. Now, quickly, the under-20 AFCON. Ivory Coast, that was given the hosting rights in December 2024, suddenly came up 30 days to the tournament and said, they could not host it again. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the Ivorian Football Federation said the government has directed them to withdraw. Now, at the end of the day, CAF has now given the hosting right to Egypt, which has also accepted. There should be penalties, I guess, for Ivory Coast.
There will be.
Because they didn't qualify. They were given automatic qualification. That must have gone. And they are likely to be suspended from taking part in AFCON for the next two editions of the tournament. As for the torch, the torch bearer for the sports festival, Nigerian Sports Festival, is Falilat Ogunkoya.
Yes.
One of those geniuses, icons, diamonds that Ogun State is perpetually producing without any
Doctor, perpetually, I think the Niger Delta have produced more than any other region.
Ogun State has a broad landscape. What is important is that the governor has promised that you will have a national sports festival that will be excellent. True. And that Ogun State is prepared and we will, receive everybody and make provisions. And I just hope that this time around, what was that event in Edo State the other time when there were issues about, release of funds from the Ministry of Finance?
National Sports Festival.
Yeah, I hope that will not happen in Ogun State. Because Ogun State will play its part. We hope that the federal government, in the spirit of the president, keeping his pledges, fulfilling his promises in the sports sector, that Ogun State will also be robustly supported to host Nigeria.
According to the Director General of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olokpade,
yes,
who has been very involved in
He's also from Ogun State.
Yes, he is from
Ogun State. We donated him to the federal government.
He has boasted and said that this will be the best national sports festival in the history of the games.
We are waiting.
So we are waiting. We are keeping our fingers crossed.
Yes,
okay.
Because a lot of promises have been made. Okay. And they are saying that they want to set the standard so high that others would find it extremely difficult to play catch-up ultimately.
Okay.
So that's how it goes.
Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Yes.